Welcome to Dietitian Practice Pro. I'm Devin, and I'm a dietitian of 12 years, and I have grown a private practice company, growing a team, and I am destined to help other dietitians either learn how to do it themselves or have someone like me help them build their private practice. Whether you're just starting out or considering making the leap, I want to kind of guide you through the journey of what is in front of you if you're moving into private practice. So let's get started. Your first step when going into private practice, and this is paramount to the future you have as a entrepreneur, as a dietitian entrepreneur, is the vision and the goals. Where do you see your practice going? How do you want to run it? What are the long-term and short-term goals of being a private practice? Who is the target person that you're wanting to work with? Is it a singular person? Is it a group? Is it a large organization? This allows you to create the services that you'll offer and the values that you want to have behind the practice and your brand and what you embody as a dietitian in private practice. So my first challenge for you is to write down a mission statement. This can be a few words, this can be a paragraph. I want you to envision what success looks for you and to create some clarity about where you feel like your company is going to go and how successful you'll be. This will help guide your future decisions when running your company. Now let's talk about the legal financial part of running a private practice. We can't just see clients, we kind of need to understand the background of the legal aspects of running our company. This includes choosing a business structure, such as an LLC, a sole proprietorship, an S Corp if you need to get to that point. But the goal is to create a structure for your business. Then you want to make sure that you're registering your business name. Be aware that you may have the same idea or name that is another dietitian. So the goal is to make sure that your company isn't taking the brand of somebody else that already exists in your state. You also want to make sure that if you are providing care that you have the necessary license, malpractice, and any business licenses that you'll have to have if you're practicing in person versus virtual. Now, one mistake that I faced when I started out my private practice was that I had my private bank account mixed with my business bank account. It is very important to separate your business from your private so that when tax time comes, you have that differentiation. So it's important to get your own tax ID number that is separate from your social security number. Now, if you need to, hire an accountant to help manage your finances. If you're not great with money or organization, a CPA or someone in that realm might be helpful in creating a safety net for when you open up your company. Now, having said that, you could run it your own, you could do your own finances. The goal is to make sure that you have good bookkeeping and that you understand the laws and regulations of the city that you live in, but also the state you're providing care. Now, creating a business plan requires you to understand your roadmap of where you feel like you're going to be at when you find success. Now, that should include things like a market analysis. You want to understand who you're servicing, where you're servicing, what the people that you're going to be working with. Okay? This then leads to a marketing strategy. How are you going to connect with that market and how are you going to get out there? Whether it's social media, in person, brick and mortar, connecting with local providers. You want to make sure that you have a strategy of how you're going to market what you do. It's not enough to just be a dietitian. You have to understand how to connect with your clients. Now, financial projections. We all want to make $1 million. We want to make $10 million. We want to make money, right? What is your financial projections? If you're moving from clinical like I did and moving into private practice, where do you see yourself financially? Are you going to make ends meet? Or are you going to maintain this level of income? Are you going to want to work to where you can support two people like I'm trying to do? You want to kind of have a goal for your finances of where you feel like you'll be when you run into private practice. This will allow you to have a compass of where and how much you should push on different things that may generate additional revenue. Lastly, it's an operational plan. Now, this can be your SOPs, your SOPs to actually focus on everything from how am I going to acquire a referral, how am I going to process it, how am I going to work with individuals, and how am I going to document and follow up with providers, etc., etc. You want to have a step-by-step process of each part of the way of from getting a client to also following up with that client. It's very important to have structure, because if you don't, then you tend to become very unorganized, and then everything gets jumbled up and it becomes very overwhelming. Now, when it comes to your service and what you're providing, you want to create detail on what you're doing. That detail explains what you're doing, what kind of care you're providing, if there's any other testing, parts that go into it. You then also want to lead and try to figure out pricing. One good way to measure out your pricing is look at local providers, look at local competition, look at Medicare reimbursement rates as kind of a gold standard for where you want to price your company. That gives you a good idea to generate the value of what you do. So that way you're either not pricing yourself too low or too high compared to the market. All right. This is how you're going to attract and retain clients. And it's okay if you set your bar very high and don't get clients. Just know that you have to create the value of what you're doing. So when people do say, hey, that's a lot of money, you're going to have to be able to back it up as to why you have the value that you have as a dietitian. This plan with pricing and your services of what you do allows you to stay focused, but also is essential to seek funding, seek help, seek partnerships that may help you grow, but also may help you work with others to generate revenue for them, and which can be reciprocated back to you. So be aware, if you need funding and you don't have it, you've got to find it somewhere else. The next step is developing your brand. Now, being a dietitian, some people don't know what that is. Also, if you're working as your own sole proprietorship or working as your own person, you have to develop the brand of who you are, so people will say, hey, that's my dietitian. Hey, that's the expert in their field. Hey, that's the person that I see helping me get to my personal health goals. Okay? Developing your brand is more than just a logo, colors, a website. It's about creating that professional identity around who you are, what you do, and that will connect with your target audience. If you don't have a brand, and that could be sometimes your personality, but be aware, personality doesn't always matter when you can present yourself in a way that helps someone reach a goal that they're trying to reach. So be aware. You want to make sure that brand connects with the person that you're trying to help. Now, once we've developed the brand and who we are and the image we want to present to other people, we want to determine our brand's voice, the voice that connects with our person. That may be the colors, the aesthetics, what our company does to demonstrate it is what it is. A strong voice of, if you are focusing on sensitivity, having light colors, having things that connect with a more of a sensitive demographic, you want to make sure your logo and what you're doing aligns with that. If you're focusing on athletes or strength, you want to have bold letters, you want to have bold colors. The goal is that your voice matches the brand, the person that, the company that you're trying to create, but also with the person that you are connecting with. So be aware that strong brand voice, but also the brand itself, is going to make you different in a highly competitive market. Realize that we have competition, not just in person, but online with other healthcare providers who are moving into the coaching space. Be aware, you have to stick out or you'll just be another dietitian in the bunch. Now let's get practical. Setting up your office space, whether in person or virtual, is crucial to create smooth operations, so that way you don't get stuck doing busy work that won't make you additional revenue or income. This includes choosing your location. This may be in your home, a home office. This may be in a separate building on your land. This may be an office space or potentially a shared space with another provider. Be aware, you want to kind of define where it is that you'll be providing the care that you provide. Now, having said that, you could have multiple places that you provide care. So be aware that it may require more work and more organization the more places you add on. And then if you add on more staff, you've got to also include all those layers with running those different locations. Now let's talk about equipment. It's essential to have the very basic things: a computer, good reliable internet. We don't want to drop calls or to have poor connections with our clients. That will kill the image of what we're trying to do as dietitians. You also want any specialized tools that are specific to your brand, to what you do. This may be things like scales, body composition analyzers if you're working in the weight loss space or the sports space, different food models if you're showing people portion sizes, serving sizes. Be aware you kind of want to have all those things available to you to be able to demonstrate that you are the expert of where you are, right? Now, having said that, starting out, you may not have these things, but the goal is you start investing in those things to kind of maximize what you're doing as a dietitian, all right? Now, outside of the physical things you have, it's important to have a software for scheduling, for billing, for managing your records, right? If you can find a good one that does all of those things, and I'll have some resources available below, be aware this will allow you to alleviate the stress of having to have 3 or 4 different things to do what essentially one thing can do on its own, all right? By having a way to have scheduling software, billing software, health record software, you stay organized. It's not enough that you can just have an Excel sheet full of information or Word documents. It's important to create this structure and this organization to allow you to spend more time with the people that you're taking care of, right? Your clients, your patients, that's important. Now that we have the vision, the goals, the financials, how we're going to do it, and how we're going to set up our office, right? We've done all those steps, step by step by step, right? Now, we're hoping that obviously referrals start coming in. We're running our business, everything is going well. But the important thing is that we have to build a network of that's going to create referrals, create support. Now that may be making cold calls to medical providers, that may be going to marketing events, that may be connecting with local healthcare organizations, right? The goal is to create this network of referrals and potential connections. Every person you meet on a day-to-day basis, whether it's the person making you coffee or the doctor that you've gone to for years, all of those people are potential referral sources for us as dietitians. So finding those connections are overly important when we're trying to get into this industry that is very condensed and very full of other people that may be competing with us for what we're trying to do. Okay, so it's important to be involved in local groups. That may be your Chamber of Commerce. That may be as big as being part of the Academy of Nutrition if you feel like that will make you a connection with running your business. So when it comes to creating those referral sources and creating that funneling of people coming to you, networking is helpful for us to stay informed about the trends in the industry and lead to valuable collaborations. Now, this may be other dietitians that are in the same space as you, but maybe are clear across the US, right? They're providing care in another state. This may be other health and wellness individuals within your city. It could be local gyms. It could be chiropractors. It could be somebody that you connect with that can help kind of create this symbiosis to help continue to grow the brand and image of what you're doing. The last thing we want to be is creating obscurity as dietitians. We want to try to create as much know about what we do by connecting with more and more people and networking. Now, you can go online, you can go on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and start connecting with people on there at the bare minimum to start this process. Now, having said that, there's a lot of things in your backyard where you live locally that could connect you with potential great referral sources without the need to go online altogether. Now, how do we market our practice? How do we create the need to work with us as dietitians? By using a mix of both online and offline strategies, this will help you create additional support for the brand and the brand image of what you're trying to do, right? This may be a professional website. Now, don't overcomplicate this because sometimes the website, it doesn't really matter to begin with, but the goal is to have some sort of a landing page for people to go to, right? Social media, we're seeing more and more of the younger demographic that use social media. So you're missing a whole group of people to help if we don't start connecting with them on the platform that they look at. Now, having said that, different demographics may use different types of social media platforms. So it's important to understand them as best you can to get out there and do and help connect with your potential client. Lastly is community outreach. This is getting in your car, walking, going into doctor's offices, going into different providers, connecting with the people that make decisions, whether it's the physician, a mid-level, a medical assistant, the referrals department. Connect with the people that are going to say, hey, I know a dietitian. Hey, I'm going to connect with this person, right? By having that, it's important to have this big 360 of both online and offline options to create us referrals and create a funneling of people to us. Don't underestimate the power of word of mouth referrals. It is important that if we have made changes in someone's lives and they say, I appreciate you as a dietitian, you helped me do X, Y, and Z, their words and their support allow you to create additional support for who you are and what you're doing. By getting testimonials or having them refer their friends to you, that's overly important. One thing I learned in healthcare working in the hospitals is I connected with so many healthcare providers in the hospitals that now people say, hey, I'm looking for a dietitian. And my one friend that was a nurse that says, hey, I know a dietitian I've worked with for the past 10 years. He's amazing at what he does, right? So a lot of this is word of mouth. And the best marketing tool for us as dietitians is word of mouth. You help one person, they're going to tell 10. So focus heavily on what we do and increase that word of mouth referral process. And this goes without saying that if you are starting out and you don't have a whole lot of people that you're working with, you want to focus on exceptional service from beginning to end. That will increase your reputation as a dietitian, help you grow the quality focus of what you do as a dietitian. You listen to your clients, you personalize what you're doing, you give them what they need to help them meet their goals, but you also seek feedback. You get information about how you help them, or maybe you didn't help them. By learning to grow and having a growth mindset when it comes to getting feedback will be overly important as you continue to grow your brand and image of what you do as a dietitian. By building a strong relationship with our clients, we lead to long-term success. One thing we can do as dietitians to make sure that we continue to have a steady stream of income, but also of people to care for, is by extending what we do and helping build long-term success and not just focusing on quick fixes. So the goal is to plan things out accordingly to help people grow as individuals, but also create success over time. So that way you have a steady stream of people coming to see you. So it's not just a one and done type of thing. The worst thing we could do as dietitians is provide so much information in a visit that someone gets overwhelmed and doesn't want to follow up with us. Starting a private practice as a dietitian is rewarding, but very exhausting. There's plenty of opportunities to make a real difference in people's lives, but having a process to do it is going to be paramount to help you get to where you need to be. Now, following all the steps that I mentioned before, staying committed to the vision of where you want to be, you'll be on your way to building a successful practice by implementing a plan to make sure that you're following through with your goals and what you're trying to accomplish. I appreciate you watching. I hope you've learned something from this. And if you're looking to connect with someone who helps see the big picture and helps you grow this company and wants to work with someone who has done this, has proven that they can maintain that 6-figure level income and grow a team, connect with us here at Dietitian Practice Pro. I love to help you envision what you're going to do in the future and be the best version of yourself. Hope you have a great day. Thank you so much. Hey, this is Devin with Dietitian Practice Pro. I hope you subscribe to learn a little bit more about running a private practice as a dietitian.